Welcome to the Whispering Shadows, 5 True Ghost Stories. I'm your host, Jififir, and tonight we delve into the abyss of the paranormal. Prepare yourself for a journey into the unknown, where the line between reality and the supernatural blurs. These are not just stories, they are chilling echoes of the past, whispers from beyond the veil. Our first tale takes us to the secluded woods of Maine, where the trees stand tall and the mist weaves through the dense forest like a ghostly veil. This is a place where time seems to stand still, and the only sounds are the whispers of the wind and the rustling of leaves. Nestled within this untouched wilderness is a weathered cabin overlooking a glassy lake. The cabin, with its rustic charm and aged wood, seems to hold secrets of its own, standing as a silent guardian of the lake's mysteries. It's here that young lovers, Sarah and Jack, sought a romantic getaway, unaware of the darkness that awaited them. They arrived with hearts full of hope and excitement, eager to escape the hustle and bustle of city life and immerse themselves in nature's embrace. The first few days were idyllic, filled with laughter and the crackling fire. They spent their days exploring the forest trails, fishing in the lake, and their evenings cozied up by the fireplace, sharing stories and dreams for the future. But the tranquility was shattered one cool evening as shadows grew long and a bone-chilling cold seeped into the cabin. The once warm and inviting atmosphere turned eerie, and an unsettling feeling began to creep into their hearts. While searching for extra blankets to ward off the cold, they discovered a hidden compartment beneath the floorboards. Inside, they found a weathered diary, its pages yellowed with age and filled with handwritten entries. The diary's pages told the tragic story of Eleanor, a young woman scorned who drowned herself in the lake a century ago. Her words were filled with sorrow and despair, painting a vivid picture of her heartache and the events that led to her untimely demise. That night, as Sarah slept, she felt an icy breath on her neck. She awoke with a start, her heart pounding in her chest, and the room seemed to be filled with an otherworldly presence. She turned to find Jack staring at the antique mirror that hung above the fireplace. His eyes were wide with fear, and he seemed entranced by something only he could see. Scrawled across its dusty surface in what seemed like condensation were the words, "Eleanor's Lake." The message was clear, and the air grew thick with tension as they realized they were not alone. The spirit of Eleanor was with them, her sorrow and anger lingering in the cabin, seeking resolution to her tragic tale. Our next story takes us to the desolate stretch of Route 29, where truck driver Ben encountered a chilling presence one stormy night. This road, often shrouded in mist and mystery, has been the subject of numerous ghost stories and eerie encounters, but none are as unsettling as what Ben experienced. Driving through the blinding rain, his headlights caught a glimpse of a woman in a red dress, thumbing a ride by the side of the road. The rain pounded on the windshield, making it hard to see, but the vivid red of her dress stood out starkly against the dark, wet night. She seemed out of place, almost ethereal, as if she belonged to another time. Her face was obscured by the darkness, but something about her sent shivers down Ben's spine. It wasn't just the oddity of her presence, it was the way she seemed to blend into the night, her features hidden in shadows, yet her form unmistakably clear. Ben felt a chill that went beyond the cold rain. He pressed on, his gut screaming at him to keep driving. The road seemed to stretch endlessly, the rain relentless. Every instinct told him to leave her behind, but the image of the woman lingered in his mind. Who was she? Why was she out there alone in such terrible weather? Miles later, guilt gnawing at him, Ben pulled into a deserted diner. The neon sign flickered, casting eerie shadows on the wet pavement. He needed a break, a moment to collect his thoughts. The diner looked like it hadn't seen a customer in years, but it was a refuge from the storm.
As I sat at the counter, sipping my coffee, an old waitress with knowing eyes approached me. Her presence was comforting, yet there was something in her gaze that suggested she knew more than she let on. The diner was quiet, the only sound the hum of the neon lights and the distant rumble of thunder.
"You saw her too, huh?" she asked, her voice breaking the silence. Ben looked up, surprised. How could she know? His mind raced, trying to make sense of it all. She whispered, her voice raspy, as if sharing a secret meant only for him. "The woman in red. She wanders this road, searching for her lost love, a trucker just like you. The woman in red. She wanders this road, searching for her lost love, a trucker just like you. Her story is one of tragedy and longing, a love lost to the unforgiving road. Some say she appears to those who are kind-hearted, seeking help, while others believe she is a harbinger of doom. Ben's blood ran cold. He had seen her, and the encounter left an indelible mark on his soul. The waitress's words echoed in his mind as he left the diner, the storm still raging outside. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had crossed paths with something otherworldly, something that would haunt him for the rest of his days. The haunting at Route 29 was not just a story, it was a chilling reality that Ben would never forget. Chapter 3. The Silent Room. Jessica, a young artist seeking inspiration, found more than she bargained for in a creaky old apartment building in New Orleans. The moment she stepped inside, a strange energy permeated the air.
One room in particular remained perpetually cold, its door always shut tight. It was the silent room, the one the landlord refused to discuss.
Driven by curiosity, Jessica couldn't resist the pull of the unknown. One night, she slowly creaked open the door and stepped inside. The air grew heavy, the silence deafening. She felt a presence, cold and oppressive, watching her every move.
Fear gripped my heart and I fled the room. Desperate for answers, I sought the help of a local psychic.
The psychic's eyes widened as Jessica described the room.
The twins. Their spirits are trapped there, forever bound to the scene of their tragic demise.
Chapter 4. The hotel's room 428. A group of friends on a weekend getaway checked into the grand old Hotel Cortez, unaware of the terror that awaited them in room 428. The hotel, with its vintage charm and opulent decor, seemed like the perfect escape from their busy lives. They laughed and chatted as they made their way through the grand lobby, admiring the intricate details and the timeless elegance of the place. However, beneath the surface of this seemingly perfect getaway lay a dark history. The staff, though polite and professional, couldn't hide the unease in their eyes whenever room 428 was mentioned. Whispers of its sinister past floated through the hallways, but no one dared to speak of it openly. The friends, oblivious to these hushed warnings, eagerly accepted their room keys and headed upstairs.
As we settled in, a sense of unease settled over us. The room, though beautifully furnished, felt cold and unwelcoming. The air was thick, almost suffocating, and an inexplicable chill ran down our spines. We tried to shake off the feeling, attributing it to our overactive imaginations. But the sense of dread only grew stronger. The temperature plummeted, and the air grew thick with dread. It was as if the room itself was alive, breathing down our necks with an icy breath. We huddled together, trying to keep warm, but the cold seemed to seep into our very bones. The once cozy room now felt like a prison, and we couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. Then the phone rang. A raspy voice whispered on the other end, "Get out, while you still can." The voice was barely audible, but its message was clear. We looked at each other in horror, realizing that we were not alone in the room. The phone call confirmed our worst fears, and panic began to set in.
Panic surged through the room. They tried to leave, but the door wouldn't budge. They were trapped. The once friendly and inviting hotel now felt like a sinister trap, and the walls seemed to close in on them. They banged on the door, screamed for help, but no one came. The realization that they were truly alone in this haunted room was terrifying. The next morning, the friends were found huddled together, pale and shaken. They had spent the night in sheer terror, unable to escape the room's malevolent grip. Their once joyful faces were now etched with fear and exhaustion. The experience had left them traumatized, and they could barely speak of the horrors they had witnessed. The receptionist, her face etched with fear, revealed the truth. She had known about the room's dark past, but had been too afraid to warn them. The guilt weighed heavily on her, and she could barely meet their eyes as she recounted the room's gruesome history.
Room 428 was the site of a gruesome murder-suicide decades ago, and the spirits of the deceased still roamed its haunted halls. The tragic events had left a permanent mark on the room, and those who stayed there were doomed to relive the terror. The friends, now aware of the room's dark history, vowed never to return to the Hotel Cortez. The memory of that night would haunt them forever, a chilling reminder of the horrors that lurk in the shadows.
Chapter 5. The Cemetery Whisper. Our final tale takes us to the hallowed grounds of St. Michael's Cemetery, where Danny and Lisa's Halloween night took a terrifying turn. As the clock struck midnight, They dared to venture into the heart of the cemetery, their laughter echoing through the ancient tombstones. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the mist, shrouded in a black veil. Its eyes glowed with an eerie light, sending shivers down their spines. They ran, their hearts pounding in their chests, but the figure seemed to glide effortlessly through the darkness, always one step behind. They finally reached the cemetery gates, breathless and terrified. The next morning, Lisa discovered a single black rose on her doorstep. Attached to it was a note, written in elegant cursive, "Until we meet again." The encounter left an indelible mark on their souls, a chilling reminder that some doors are best left unopened. Thank you for joining us on this spine-chilling journey through the whispering shadows, 5 true ghost stories. As we've delved into the darkness, we've encountered the unexplained, the unsettling, and the unforgettable. Remember, the next time you hear a whisper in the dark, it might just be a shadow from the past reaching out, a reminder that the line between our world and the next is thin indeed. Stay tuned for more tales that will keep you on the edge of your seat, for the shadows are always whispering, waiting to share their secrets with those brave enough to listen.